Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to Rise Up Breathwork with Matt. And I was just looking for something on this. Okay. Hope everyone is enjoying their week. A little bit of rain, a little bit of humidity, a little bit of that summer feeling coming in today. So let's just drop in for a moment and let's just take like 10 breaths together. Just either focus on breathing any way that works for you, or you can do the breathing through the nose and out through the mouth. So let's just drop in for a moment. And just bring your attention fully to your breath. And just tracking it into the body. And then on that next inhale, let's just bring it all the way up to the crown and hold. And then we'll just let it all go. Okay. And just drop into the moment, drop into, and just kind of check like how does your body feel as you're kind of dropping into like this moment right now and just being here. And today we're just going to kind of discuss a little bit about our identity, our beliefs going into our identity, and kind of like where it may develop from, and how long it's like lived with us, and is it really a part of our true self, or is it a part of our non-self, something that maybe we're leaving behind, or a part of us that really doesn't identify with our shift, our transformation as we're moving in or seeking change within ourselves. So for a moment, what I'm going to invite you to do is to go get some paper or your journal, so that we're going to be doing some free writing around this today. So I'm just going to give everyone a minute to do that. So part of like the transformation for me is really tuning back a little bit into like self, and tuning into what is like our true power, and and from this place of true power of who we really are, this is where we can become a little bit more creative, and we can our actions can also come from this place. A part of like our identity is also like the frequency that we're giving off as we interact and kind of move throughout our day. Am I giving off, am I full of anxiety today, or depression, or am I just kind of feeling sad? Am I feeling really happy, energetic? Whatever we're bringing into the body and allowing for the body to feel, that's going to be the energy that we're giving off, and that's what is identifying us in that moment. we normally choose to survive in that survival mode. And when we can start exploring like what our identity is, or maybe um, maybe we don't even know what our identity is as we're shifting into this transformation. Maybe we're a little bit stuck, maybe we're a little bit lost, and maybe we're just not really too sure. So what I'm going to invite you to do for a moment is we're just going to free write like different identities that, like, for who we think we are. Like, so it can be current stuff that's going on right now. It could be stuff maybe even moved on from the past. So these identities are what has shaped us throughout time. It is like our belief system. It is what we have been taught by teachers, friends, family, parents, uncles, and then as we're taught these things, we establish like this belief system around it, and then this is going to form our identity. And the identity may not really be in alignment with who you are now. There may be pieces of it that are in alignment, but like, what am I identifying with? And we can become very trapped in that belief system that's linked to the identity. That can be like a closed room where, um, it's like, no, this is the way it is. It can uh, box in our thinking a little bit, our creativity, because we've lived with this for so long, this belief system, and it has really identified who I am or who you are. Some of it we may be very aware of, um, that it doesn't sit comfortable within our body. So for a moment, we're going to fall into a breath, and then we're going to free write after this. And within this breath, I'm just going to invite you to allow for thoughts to arise that pertain to your belief system that has been established throughout time, and how it is linked to your identity, in how you perceive yourself and how others may perceive you. So for right now, I'm just going to invite you to drop into the nose and mouth breath. And just start off with just tracking the breath, just finding the breath and allowing for it to tune into the body. And then as you're tuning in, just to really bring your awareness up of how the body's feeling. We really want to tap into how are we feeling. And as you allow for thoughts to arise that are in relationship to your belief system that's attached to the identity, um, we're going to do two things here. One is, the first thing we want to do is ask, is this who I am? And just really, I invite you to really feel into the body, like, how does this make you feel? Is it linked to an energy center? Is it activated? Is it closing in? Is it feeling comfortable? Is it expansive? Um, does it feel good? And just ask, is this who I am? And just, you can say yes or no, and then just kind of feel into that and just dive into how that feels, regardless of the answer. And then just kind of release it through the breath and allow for another thought to arise. So I'm going to give you like 3 minutes to fall into this writing out. Right now, I'm sorry. We're just going to allow for thoughts to arise in relationship to that belief system, our identity, and then you're just going to ask the question, is this who I am? And staying with your breath as you go through this process. Really just only sit with stuff for 2 to 4 breaths and then release it out. Kind of find that balance a little bit within your system, and then just allow for something else to arise. And really observing what's coming up in the body. And if nothing's coming to you, that's okay. Just really sit in your power, sit in your breath. And just allowing stuff to come up intuitively. And now I'm going to ask you just to, on your next inhale, just breathe up to the crown, hold, and then just release everything, dropping into the body. And once you just kind of drop into the body, I invite you at this time just to find your normal breath, and then kind of grab that journal that you grabbed with your pen. And we're going to take a couple minutes here just to free write what came up for you during this little breathe session on your belief systems that are kind of like linked to your identity and who you are. And so at this time, I'm just going to invite you just to kind of write it out. Write out whatever's coming up for you with identities that maybe don't serve you anymore, like who you maybe been most of your life, and how your belief systems kind of shape that identity of who we are. And then at the end of whatever you're writing, just remember that question, like, is this who I am? And, as you write this out, maybe answer that question, write out the question, and answer it. And so we're going to do this for about 3 to 4 minutes. So just kind of close your eyes if no thoughts are coming up, and just allow for yourself to feel into what you're writing here. Try not to think about it. Try not to form correct sentences. Just discover that ability to let stuff come up. We'll go for about another minute and a half. Just allow for the flow of the writing to occur. And then just finish writing whatever thought is being translated down onto the paper, and then just place the pen down or the pencil, and then just kind of just drop into your breath and close your eyes for a moment. Our identity is so powerful. Whatever is coming out for you right now of the identity of who we have been, and to remember that this identity is really what drives many of our decisions that we are making, because we believe this, or we believe, or we've been told this, or I need to do this because it's just the way it's always been. And a lot of times, that's coming from the mental mind because it's been taught to us. And then we shift to the mind when something comes up, or a decision needs to be made, whatever it may be, job related or school or and to remember that, um, when we're coming from that place of the mind, we're really just kind of forcing the issue. We're not really giving um, the situation that's linked with our identity and how we're linking that into our moments any spaciousness, right? So we're just allowing for the mind to kind of take control, and then it kind of runs with it, and this may be not really who we are anymore. It may not feel good. So if we can bring in some discernment, which is basically um, if something's coming up, we can ask that question like, is this who I am? Is this really linked to the identity of who I was in the past that maybe doesn't serve me anymore? Or it may be a part of who you are now and a part of what you want within your identity. But when we ask that question, we can, just kind of feel into in the body. What's the body telling you? What's the energy within the body? Is it a closed-in energy? Does it feel like it's collapsing? Do you feel like maybe a tightening in the throat? Maybe squinting eyes or tension in the face or around the mouth? Um, so really diving into what are the sensations in the body, and as we discover these sensations, it's going to allow for us to go a little bit deeper into what the answer to this question is. Maybe it brings a lot of openness and a feeling of much spaciousness, and maybe it's coming from a place of love. So we need, part of it is discovering like, what is this a part of the identity that's coming with me within my pathway of this transformation process, liberating myself from these belief systems from the past and coming more from the heart. So just fall into your breath for a moment. And just check with how the body's feeling. Let's try and stay neutral here, just staying with and tracking the breath. And just bring yourself into balance, feeling comfortable within the body, breathing out any feelings of discomfort within us. And what we're going to do now is we're going to free write a little bit about what is my identity shifting into? How do I see my identity in the future? Maybe it's a part of who you are now that's going to come along for the ride, or maybe we haven't quite figured it out yet. Maybe we're not too sure. But So I'm just going to invite you to be a little bit creative here as you're staying with your breath. Again, we'll take about 4 minutes to free write as your beliefs maybe become more expansive, which is forming a newer identity. Because beliefs don't need to be so in the room. We can have some general beliefs coming from different ideas and lines of thought, and allow for that expansiveness of us to be more open to receiving more, and not shutting things out and pushing it away because it's not a part of where we came from. So let's be a little bit creative. Let's have a little bit of fun with this. And how do you see your identity? How do you see yourself transforming? And who are you becoming? And so let's just kind of open our eyes, and we're going to take about 4 minutes here just to write out the identity that you wish, you desire, you see yourself shifting or changing or transforming into, liberating yourself from the past. And let's just go ahead and take a few minutes for this. Try not to put too much thought into it. Just kind of stay with it. Allow for stuff to arise within you. And just really kind of sitting with the body, the energies within you. About 2 more minutes here. And then just going ahead and allowing for yourself just to finish if you're writing something, and just finish writing it out, and then just go ahead and put the paper down and fall back into your breath for a moment. So when something is arising within our day, maybe an individual is triggering something from the past that makes me become not so kind with my words. And so, I'm identifying with a part of me from the past that is still energetically living in the system, living in my body. So this person says something to me that triggers me, and I don't want to feel it. I don't want to identify with it. So I'm going to make myself feel better by pushing my words back on this person and maybe not being so kind. So that's going to be coming from that mental mind. It's going to be coming directly from the mind. But if I can breathe into it for a moment and change this and give it a little bit of space and be like, all right, yeah, you just hit a little spot in me. Breathe into the body and just see how it feels. And it's probably bringing up some form of discomfort within our body. We don't want to be sitting with discomfort. So what do? Well, we can go right back to that question. Is this me? Is this my true self? Is this my higher self? Is this the person that I am becoming? Is this how I envision? What do I envision? So if you say, is this my truer self? And you say no, then we can feel into that and be like, yeah, and that's not feeling too good. It's not comfortable. It's closing in. I'm tightening up. I'm getting frustrated. Stuff is getting worked up in me. And so, if we've done a little bit of work on this, like we are now, maybe we can link that to, okay, well, if it's a no, and I'm really feeling that it's a no, it's all the signs in my body are telling me that this doesn't feel okay, then I can bring myself, and even in the moment, even if I haven't worked on it, I can just be like, well, who do I want to be? How do I want to be in this situation? Can I liberate myself for a moment from the past and set something new in motion? So when we decide which way we're going to go, and let's just say I'm going to go with the yes, and I'm going to, okay, yeah. So how do I see myself? What can I declare as the new me, or the part of me that is in alignment with my true self, my higher self? And so this is a process that we can go through, and it might require a lot of thinking in the beginning, and that's why the free writing here is a little bit helpful. So we've kind of went into discernment with the situation, feeling it into the body, giving it some space without reacting right away from the mental body, diving into the body and going into where is it living, where is it alive, and how does that feel? And we said, hey, it's not feeling good, so no, this is not who I am. And we're making that decision as to this is not the belief, this is not the identity, and I am liberating myself from this and creating something new. And so the more awareness we're able to bring in, then we can start to discover and start to create the newer identity. Now, when we create this identity, how is it going to feel? Does it feel like it's coming from the place of the heart? feeling more open in the throat, not closed in. Am I maybe realizing that people are really mirrors of my energy? Because as I shift this energy, maybe give it a little bit of space. And then I'm going to declare a new energy. Maybe it's coming from the heart. Maybe it's more openness in certain areas. Maybe it's a little bit more relaxed, not so much tension. But really falling into a new feeling, a new sensation within the body. And as we declare that energy, and we don't always have to have an answer for how you might behave. But if we can just come from this different energy, if we can create an energy from the heart to meet this and be a little bit more loving and compassionate and have that understanding or that awareness that I'm liberating myself from this part of me that just doesn't, this identity of how I am with, and there's so many things under this umbrella. But this little process can help us to discover a new feeling in the body. And as a result of bringing in this new energy of maybe just breathing into the heart and being a little bit more compassionate, or maybe just breathing into my neck and just letting that relax and maybe move it a little bit. And I can do this in the midst of other people. And maybe just allow for this to open and maybe not be so responsive so quickly. And then our energy changes and it shifts, and then we're giving off a new frequency, a new vibration, a higher vibration, not of that lower vibration. We're really just kind of changing the view of ourselves. We're reconfiguring the energy within the body. We're reconfiguring the energy that we're giving off around us that other people are going to feel. And, this is just a little dip into just kind of bringing this up and just discussing it and starting to give everyone that option to think a little bit differently, create some space. How can we really begin to unpack, heal, let go, disintegrate like a lot of the identities that we've been holding on to, and that have also been driving us into this disconnection with the body, because we're not connected to the body when we're staying with that old identity and we're acting out, or we're identifying it as this way it has to be, and it's just the mind taking control. It's because it's the way it's been. It's in survival mode. And so if we can start to connect with the body, plug into how we are starting to feel the sensations that are coming alive within the different energy centers, and this is a part of that process of just shedding stuff. You can think of it as a snake, shedding its skin, or a turtle that's going for a new shell because it's outgrown. It's shedding parts of it that it doesn't really need anymore. And we're kind of if we're on this pathway and have that awareness, we have that same ability to start discovering something new, to find that new shell that we're going to fit into a little bit more comfortably, with a little bit more compassion, with a deeper understanding that we're really liberating ourselves from the past and creating this new energy, this new you, these new feelings of feeling good in the body. And for me, that being disconnected. I mean, I was disconnected most of my life, so, and I'm sure many of you are too. And when I was in that disconnection, right? Um, hmm, I identified with being successful or doing this or this part of my life or career or coaching or whatever. And, then I'm reaching for whatever success or how to define who I am. And when I'm in disconnection, um, these things that may be a part of who I am, um, are very short-lived. They don't really stick around for too long because I'm not connected to the body. And so eventually the survival aspect of me comes back into play, and it either spoils or ruins it, or I just shift back into older identities and go back to that disconnect. But the more that we can start discerning a situation, bringing it in, so how's this feeling? Yeah. Right now it's making me antsy, agitated. It makes me want to pull a situation into me more so faster than when I'm willing to I'm just pulling it in because I want it to be here, not here, or whatever. And that's just it's not feeling good. It's rushing. It's getting, it's not a comfortable feeling within me. So what is it? So this is not a part of who I am. A part of who I could be, though, is slowing down, staying in the moment, and allowing for the process to unfold very slowly and to take its time. And to be okay with that. I can have this identification with myself that I want it to feel good. I want to allow for the spaciousness of this new thing to actually come from a place of the heart and compassion, not only for myself, but maybe for the other person. So I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes for a minute and find your breath breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Tuning into the body for a moment and just tracking your breath and just tuning in. Just tune in for a moment. And then an identification. I'm just going to invite you to bring up one identification or a part of you or a belief that you feel that doesn't serve you anymore. So I just invite you to bring that thought up, let it arise, breathe into it. Alright, now that we know what this is, I'm just going to invite you to let the mind go and create some space. And now just breathe into the body and just see how is this feeling for you in the body? How does it feel? I'm just going to invite you just to really feel it for a moment. Just develop to help develop this ability to, yeah, this is not feeling right, or maybe it is feeling right. But identifying where it is, where it lives within the body, and where is that discomfort. Let's just sit with it for about one more minute. Maybe as we sit with it a little bit longer, and we're identifying and understanding this energy within us and this discomfort, maybe, and with this sense of awareness, maybe I can begin to grow tired of it, tired of feeling this way, tired of identifying with this thing, whatever it is. And now let's just ask ourselves that question: is this who I am? Is this my truer self? And feel into it. Don't just answer it right away. Just what answer is coming up through the body. So no. So now let's create a new energy, a new identity, a new, maybe a little bit, form a new belief system around it, this situation for you. So just take a moment and let's just breathe into that and just fall into, for right now, just like a new energy that you want to bring to this, how it's going to feel in the future when this comes up again for you. And you remember to go through this process. And begin to create a new energy. You can link like some of your behaviors to it a little bit, but bring it into the body. Breathe in more spaciousness, more openness. Find a new, maybe you're still coming from the same energy center, that was activated, closed in. Now maybe we're just opening it up. Maybe we're bringing in a little heart energy, or maybe I just need to say to myself, I'm going to speak kindly. I'm going to speak kindly. And see how that feels when you say that. I'm going to allow the situation out here in my life to have spaciousness. And to create that space and not pulling stuff into me all the time. Because I want this now. Whatever it is. And then really fall into this new energy. So that the energetic configuration of who you are with inside you is shifting in such a way that it's also taking over the space around your body, and we're giving off this new energy. And just imagine yourself in this new energy for a moment as you begin to create it. So, now let's just breathe. Nice strong inhale up through the nose and hold at the ground. And then just let it go when you're ready and just drop back into the moment for a second. And just check on how you're feeling now. Just tune into your breath. Breathe whatever way is right for you. Just use the breath to relax the body. To bring it into alignment with our truer self. Feeling the energies within you at balance, not too emotional, not too caught up in an identity from the past that's maybe closing us off to a belief system, shutting doors. Just drop into just that balance. To come from this place, maybe to bring the heart and breathe into the heart. Feel that maybe just become a little bit more expansive for a moment. And to remember to be kind to yourself. Like, this stuff is not easy, and the titration aspect of it, when I talk about sipping and taking small doses of the breath, like, the more awareness that we can bring in, the more awareness that I can bring in for myself, and tapping into how I'm feeling with different moments. Maybe it's a heavy heart. But the more we can discover and tap into the energies within here, and maybe use this process to help create a new energy that serves your higher self. We're identifying with things in a different manner, identifying who we are. This may be shifting and changing. Maybe parts of our story from the past just aren't in alignment anymore. It's just not who we are anymore. I mean, there's so many pieces to my life that I just don't even look at anymore. And some of it really good too. But it's not who I am anymore. And even some of the good stuff, it still had stuff attached to the ego, and definitely was identifying who I was, even though it was really good and really fun. But I took that too far too at the same time. Nice big strong inhale, really let it out. Maybe slowly start to bring some movement back into the body, to wiggle your fingers, circle the head a little bit. And just slowly bring yourself back into the space that you're in, the chair or the couch or the ground that you're sitting or laying upon. And just bring your awareness back to your space that is safe for you, your surroundings, your room. Maybe you're just sitting in the backyard. And so, yeah. So I hope this was helpful. Something to think about. If you have any interest in exploring this a little bit deeper, feel free to reach out. And just remember that Anna will be on tomorrow afternoon, I think at 1 o'clock, for the chair yoga, so come join us for that. And hope everyone's starting to enjoy a little bit of the summer feeling in the air lately. And we will see you all